some other shenanigans. I don't really know. It's all a game of voodoo is what I'm trying to say. On the other side, though, Vici, with Coma as a coach, I doubt there's many dice involved in their draft strategy, and this feels like an LPL draft from them.
It definitely does. I mean, look, you've got Cube, who's going to be on this. Mordekaiser playing it safe up here against the Aatrox. You've got a strong mid laner for Forge here, and this is where Vici have found home, is getting Forge onto something where he's got control of this mid lane. The LeBlanc fits that perfectly. Start to pick off people in these skirmishes, definitely around the dragons, up towards that top side of the map, and Rift Herald as well. And Vici have set themselves up, I believe, for success in this game number 2.
We'll see. Vici, they're looking like they've got a bit more of a solid game plan. On the other side, though, you mentioned it before, V5, they've got to win through these strong solo lanes. This Renekton, this Aatrox being able to snowball the game. Against an Olaf, though, how do you really achieve that? Because ultimately, Ike's is going to be more than happy to gank if you go aggressive.
So this is the issue that I'm seeing right now. As look, we can talk about how good Forge is on this LeBlanc, but when you are into a Renekton, it's kind of difficult. If you want to go in and trade aggressively, you can get the stun come in from CLX. You can then chase you back with a slice and dice and run you down. So you've got to be very careful as LeBlanc in this matchup. So this is where I'm looking to go, okay, if we got CLX in a winning matchup top, Ali is in a winning matchup, or well, vice versa, but I'm going to hold on to that point.
Yeah, all of those matchups could change because we've got Vici going to force a late invade here, but a good answer from the side of V5. Everyone is here from V5, including the top laner. Alias has had to use his TP at level 1 to be a part of that play.
So Alias will be okay here because he's the one who's going to win out in this top lane matchup. He's able to push aggressively. He's got some really good heals and stuff that he can work with against Cube. So having that teleport gone early isn't too bad unless Ikes can get up there and influence that lane matchup. But shouldn't be the end of the world for Alias. More though, it's looking towards, okay, Aatrox winning top. CLX when he hits the level 4 or 5 will then win out in this matchup in the mid lane. And then you can look towards Xiaohan to try and just farm up and avoid Ikes coming in, because in theory, CLX and Alias should be able to help out in these scenarios.
We have to talk about this jungle matchup as well, because you've already mentioned Xiaohan's on Echo. It takes a long while before Echo can really come on into the game. Oh, hang on. It's going to be a hook onto Y4. He's going to be fine. He's Tahm Kench. He's not too worried about it. But importantly, in game number 1, this skirmish is actually still going somehow. Mole takes a huge amount of damage from iBoy there. That's the power of a level 2 spike in the bottom lane. But I really want to talk about the junglers. I'm going to finish my point against all costs here. Xiaohan was the shining light for V5 in the early game of game number 1. Now on the Echo, how is he going to have that same impact?
Well, he's got to try and get something going for himself, but Cube is trying to shut that down right now.
He's going to miss just about everything, though. But Cube actually is going to try and find a 1v1. He's going to be flanked, but Ikes is here too. In the end, they're just going to be able to grab that one. Forge happy to recall in the brush.
You'd love to see Xiaohan starting to get these early ganks off, though not so much at this level 3, level 4 mark. You can if given the opportunity, but realistically, farm up to that level 7, 8 mark, and then you want to start trying to set up with the likes of Alias and CLX. Even if you don't get the kill in these ganks, the idea is to at least start proccing that Dark Harvest, so you're getting a lot more damage into your kit, and then you can start to look towards iBoy in those later team fights. So Xiaohan playing nice and camp at the moment, but the problem is that Ikes is not going to let him do that. We thought that, hey, Alias should be able to control this top wave, but when he hasn't been, Ikes will get in and steal these camps away, slowing down Xiaohan. Oh, that was sick.
Y4 denies the hook. Exhaust comes through in the end, but Hung survives. It costs him his flash, but summoner for summoner ultimate.
Well played by Y4. Maybe he is just a poor player at heart. Who would have thought it? The Tahm Kench looking clean so far. But definitely still a bit of a sloppy start from both bottom lanes here, where Mo taking a good chunk out of himself in the early stages, and now Hung forced to blow his flash.
I like the fancy footwork, though, from Hung, because he was trying to watch out for the Tangle Barb. He was trying to dodge that one back and forth, but it actually ends up just getting eaten because of it. Forge in this mid lane, desperately trying to put some pressure on CLX, but he just has so much sustain on Renekton.
So let's start to look at how V5's comp wants to work. It's very similar in this 1-3-1 split push we saw in the last game, but the problem is they don't have a huge amount of that innate late game skill.
Here we go though, Xiaohan wants to make a play. Parallel Convergence won't stun, and Hung will get a dredge line to pull himself to safety. Here comes Ike's. They could turn this one around. Gravitum's there. The root not quite available. Heal forced. The minion blocks the dredge line. Ike's might just be too late on this one. Mole flashes away. Vici turn the play around, but they can't find the kills.
And now you can have Vici push this wave in. They can turn over towards the dragon, or at least have Ike solo that objective out for themselves and set themselves up for success in this early game.
Oh, good stun down onto Forge in the mid lane as well. CLX, kind of good trade there. Forge is going to be just about out of mana.
So this is where you can start to see this matchup turning. The early electrocute damage is really tough for the Renekton to deal with, but after getting that no magic mantle and now having a couple more points in those abilities like the healing and on his Q, that's where this lane starts to turn in favor of CLX.
CLX knows it as well. You can see the CS lead starting to build up for him already, but Ice gets himself a dragon off the back of that play in the bottom side. Vici, while they don't have a huge gold lead, are starting to build tempo for themselves.
And this is where Vici are going to shine. If Ike's is able to dictate the pace of this early game, well then they can set up the likes, or in and around the likes of this Baron, where they can start to have Forge come in on these flanks, get on towards the likes of Mole and try and burst them out, or even just pick off Xiaohan before these fights start. Now these sound like difficult things to do, of course, because Pop Blossom gives you the shield, Xiaohan has that ultimate that you can already rewind time, get a bunch of that health back, but if they're using these before the fights are starting, that's so much of these champions' kits already gone.
Cube actually managed to steal the Gromp there. Cube is level 6, Xiaohan is level 4. I feel like Cube could have even gone more aggressive and tried to find the 1v1, honestly. But he's just going to return back up towards his top lane. He's got his Bramble Vest, so he's fine in the 1v1 at this point against Alias. But I want to talk a little bit about what the team fights actually look like for V5. Because you mentioned that Vici, they need to find a pick before these team fights. But with no AD carry, with this Nico Kench, with a Renekton and an Aatrox, what on earth does a 5v5 even look like for V5?
Disastrous. It looks absolutely disastrous because Mole wants to try and go in aggressively, but Nico doesn't really have that in her kit. You got to use the flash to burn it. But realistically, looking at trying to get onto the likes of iBoy in the backline is not going to happen. You've got Cube who's coming in on the side or on a flank where he's able to pull someone into the Death Realm. So already you're starting to see these opportunities for V5 to get a big Pop Blossom with Alias and CLX coming in on the flanks, with Xiaohan coming over the wall as well, not opting to look as good, especially when Forge can play keep away in a lot of scenarios, popping in over a wall, getting a bit of poke damage and passing back with the distortion. It's really difficult for V5 to pick off these fights. They're more relying on Vici not setting up correctly.
It's all about the setup for Vici, and a double chain is a great setup in this mid lane. Ags will get a slow. CLX still has his flash. He uses the Dominus, but here comes Xiaohan. Can't find a stun because Ragnarok is in full effect right now.
You see, even Hung had moved up to try and help out there, but this is where V5, if you're falling behind in lanes because of Ike's playing this aggressive Olaf style, well, then this 1-3-1 that V5 would like to go for is going to become a bit more of an issue, especially if Ike's is picking up these early Rift Heralds and Dragons, when now you've got bunches of objectives spawning that Vici can force people into fights.
What? He saw Maestro's solo kill on Nautilus the other day, and he was like,
inspired.
I've got to try and do this myself, man. I've got to find one of my own. Not the play. He's just going to go.
No, if I stand here really still, he can't see me.
Echo's vision is based on movement.
If only you realized there was a Rek'Sai and not an Echo. But here we go.
We've got a Death Throw in the top lane onto Alias, and Ike's is here for when he comes back out as well. The World Ender is about to have his own world ended. Ike's, though, one more shot won't quite finish the job, and Cube more than happy to have a bit of help in the top lane. Now Forge and CLX trading in the mid, but CLX does not have kill pressure yet.
Not quite. But you can still see that he's starting to get into a decent spot here. I'd love to see Forge actually pick up a Seeker's Arm Guard, because this is going to be a pretty difficult lane for him to begin with. The Blasting Wand isn't going to do too much, but that extra armor could definitely help in swinging these trades in your favor.
CLX going to be able to just clear this wave away and force it underneath the tower. But Forge, he pretended to recall, but he hadn't recalled really. So he's going to get his 6 CS for himself. No teleports available in this mid lane, so they'll both be able to reset. But it will be CLX that gets back on the map first.
You still got to look at Xiaohan versus Alex, because this is where the crux of this game is going to fall. Xiaohan hasn't really been able to farm up because Ike's been doing a great job of stealing away camps, especially with Cube, who was winning this top lane matchup where we weren't really expecting him to have that much control. And now that's causing issues because Xiaohan has fallen pretty far behind. No Dark Harvest stacks picked up for himself so far, really. So now he's struggling to have a fight against Vici.
Alias pulled in the top lane, and it feels like Cube is starting to get a bit confident up here. It doesn't feel like this is an Aatrox favored matchup anymore because Cube, he's got some items, he's got a bit of defense, and he's winning in the CS as well.
Dragon is about to spawn though in 30 seconds, so this is where Vici, again, we're talking about them having the opportunity to drag V5 into these fights they don't really want to take. Well, this is one opportunity that they can use. The next one will be the Rift Herald, but it looks like V5 have realized, look, we don't want to be fighting Vici right now. We are just going to give this one up, get Xiaohan to get some sort of control back in that topside river, and maybe we can look to avoid Vici for a bit longer.
Clearing away the vision and starting up this Ocean Drake. This will be the second Drake of the game. Vici would love to get off to a 2 Drake start. It would be a good way to keep the ball rolling for them. Bear in mind that they've got an Aphelios here in the bottom lane, so they will consistently scale on in. But first off, we've got to find the top side because Alias is trying to find a 1v1 with Cube, but Cube doesn't realize this ain't a 1v1, but it is when you pull him into the Death Realm, and he's going to find the kill before he goes down. Beautifully done.
How many times have you seen a Mordekaiser get ganked and it comes out as a 1-for-1 trade against the Mord, thanks to that Death Realm? Now we've got Ike's on this bottom side of the map. He's going to toss down this Rift Herald with Forge coming in tow as well. V5 have got to abandon the bottom side of the map.
And this is going to be so much plate gold going into iBoy's pocket. He's very happy with the back of this one.
And iBoy has been the consistent damage dealer for Vici. He's 31% of the team's damage. So if you're putting your gold into this veteran AD carry's pockets, you know he's going to do good things.
They found an opportunity here onto Ike's though, who, I mean, yeah, he's just, he just walked way too far forward. I guess he wanted to make sure that the Herald got a second charge, but that's one of the powers of Nico.
And it's one of the things that we talked about with Vici, not overly respecting the champions.
Hang's still looking up to Maestro. He wants to find the solo kill. It's going to be on to Xiaohan. Force the chrono break, actually, and will be CC'd. In comes Cube. Xiaohan needs to be careful. Death Realm on cooldown, but there's nowhere for Echo to go. This will be a kill for Forge. No, dodges away in the last second right there.
Can Hung do it? Can he get it?
Xiaohan, no, will go down. Forge gets the kill in the end. I mean, it wouldn't have been a solo kill anyway, but either way. But they do get the punish on the invade.
And that's the big thing here. We talked about how Forge can have these opportunities to push Xiaohan out, force these inadequate uses of the ultimate, and now he might be looking to try and get onto Mole, but definitely if he can punish Echo like this, and as you just saw, pick up some kills for himself off the back of it, but then this is going to be a continuation of what Xiaohan's going to see in this game. We're trying to... Oh, hang on.
Xiaohan is very... Oh, no, he's not. It's Mole after all. The root, the pop blossom, everything comes through. And twice in a row now they make this play. And twice in a row, it's Y4 that nicks the kill. Abyssal Voyage to safety means Vici can do nothing about it.
Much better job from Mole on this Nico. The pop blossom's a bit on point. The wave clear's been on point. Although, unfortunately, Vici have still managed to start to get control on this map. They've got the bottom lane turret, they've got in the dragon, and now they're going to start looking to start moving iBoy around the map. Rift Herald will be spawning in just over 2 minutes, or just 2 minutes now, and they'll be able to move up with iBoy to secure that objective.
Oh, the Krug ruined the recall there for Mole. Very sad. But as the plates will fall in about 5 seconds now, we'll see where the gold stands, because still, once again, for the second game running now, the gold slightly in favor of Vici, but once again, V5, they're giving them a run for their money.
Well, as you said, gold is a little bit in favor of Vici, that coming from the turret plates, and we've got to see now if they can make this difference when the Rift Herald spawns. Vici already in a position here, but V5 not wanting to give this up easily.
Mole's been found. Pop Blossom is not going to do much because LeBlanc can just jump on out again. Y4 tries to save Mole. Ragnarok comes on through and he's going to have to settle for a Kench instead. In comes Alias off to the side. Mole tries to find his way back in. Hung's tanky enough to take that burst though. Xiaohan finds no way into the fight.
But Vici can turn over towards this Rift Herald. That was the problem that I was talking about with Mole. How do you try and use this Pop Blossom? Because Forge is just going to look to poke you out before the fight even starts. Defensive Pop Blossom means you can't have it for the fight, and Vici are free to start walking forward without the pressure from CLX because he's in the bottom lane.
Teleport immediately from Alias after getting the tower in the bottom lane. They want the cake and they want to eat it. Hung uses the stopwatch. Herald went down and Ike's grabbed that, but CLX has gone a little bit too deep. Or has he? Maybe it was all a bait. Gets eaten up by Y4, saved in the end. The fight is utter chaos as Alias trying to get onto iBoy, but Aphelios will do Aphelios things. And now Xiaohan finds himself alone. Forge can't get the root. Mole walks away from Cube as well. Vici win out the fight, but only just.
I'm surprised that Alias, or not even Alias, CLX was allowed so long in the backline there. I thought the Cube was going to use the Shadow Realm a lot earlier to keep iBoy safe, but enough damage was able to come through from CLX that when Alias joined the fight, Vici were in shambles in the backline. Now they just barely managed to take the fight. They do get the Rift Herald. Still overall a win for Vici, but still a little bit messy. So watch when CLX comes in here, gets directly on towards the backline. I thought, cool, we're just going to see the Death Realm here onto CLX to stop him taking down Hong, stop him putting pressure onto iBoy. But it takes so long that he ends up dealing the damage that needs to Hong. Cube eventually then pulls one member in, but it's already a disaster at that point just because of all the disruption that CLX has brought in.
That's going to be the Herald going the way of Vici, and now another Drake is on the map. It's 6-6 on the scoreboard. V5, the first ones on the scene. Vici want to contest for this one. They're nearby. They're going to make it happen soon if they want this, because down to 3,000 already. This would be sole point if Ice can get the smite on in. He charges into the pit. They're going to DPS the Drake down. Pop Blossom going to be onto 2 as Ike's forced out of the pit. Will barely survive. Can they finish the kills though? That's the question. iBoy flashes away from Alias. Now it's a group fight once again, and V5 are on the retreat. Pull on in, and it's going to be Mole going down. I thought it was a clone, but he's going to fall. Now Alias rooted. He's the Aatrox though, and he turns 1 kill back for himself. 2 for 1, but the Dragon goes to V5.
Forge though looking for more. We'll get the chains onto CLX, but that is all about it. Rift Herald popped in the mid lane though to try and get this turret.
Rift Herald comes on down. They might be able to force a second charge on this one, although parallel convergence means they can't even find 1 tower for themselves.
Cube has gone up to the top lane to start putting pressure onto this tier 1 there. So overall, okay, V5, you've held onto the Dragon. You're starting to find some of these team fights, but it's very messy play from Vici when it comes to them.
Y4 needs to be careful here not to go too far for this turret. Y4, he's finished his quest. Good job, mate. 17 minutes. I don't know. I actually have no idea how good that is. How's 17 minutes on a quest?
Not great.
No?
But well, yeah, it's not ideal, but it's still it'll do the trick in this game because he's kind of been a bit all over the place trying to help out in a lot of situations. Mole has been killing a heck of a lot of people before anything could really happen. Ooh. And then when we look at V5, they have managed to get the top, or they lost the top lane turret. Vici will pick that one up for themselves. I want to go back to that last team fight though, because Vici here, that was a very scrappy fight. They didn't have Forge go in and try and pick off the likes of Mole or Xiaohan. These are the 2 prime targets for him. Instead, he's opting towards CLX and Alias, which are not the members that you were trying to deal with. That's Cube, and that's Hung who should be trying to work on them. And iBoy!
They're going to find a pick onto iBoy. Xiaohan gets the kill as well. Hung pulls himself to safety.
I was about to say, iBoy's being left on his lonesome. Well, he deserves it if he's going to walk through like that.
Parallel convergence as well. They want more off of this one. Cube steps on forward, and he's going to need to if he wants to protect this tower. Ike's is going in. He wants to find this fight. 4 versus 5 right now, but Vici won it anyway. Chrono Break does a lot of damage. The health bars are getting low, though, for V5. They're starting to fall 1 by 1. Everybody walking away, and it's a double kill for Cube, who's absolutely massive on this one. Mole will fall for the triple, and Y4 has to run away with his froggy tail between his legs.
And they're able to find the turnaround. V5 going too deep for the tower. Vici with Cube leading the charge, take the team fight, and they'll grab this mid lane tower.
Beautifully done from Vici, and look at that, 4,000 gold lead now. And I thought it was all going to go wrong, but forcing a 4v5, and it still works out.
It's never a 4v5 when you're underneath the tower like that, and Vici did a great job here of setting themselves up for success. Cube is hitting onto multiple people here. You've got Ike's who's managing to get these underthrows to multiple people as well. And then Forge, with this really aggressive flash forward, is able to put himself in a position to deal so much damage to V5. It was a close call though. Look at the low health bars on Vici across the board. But when Cube comes back out of the Shadow Realm, that's where it's all done for.
I'm not going to lie, as a play-by-play, these fights are so hard to cast. With a LeBlanc on one side and a Nico on the other, not to mention Tom Kench pulling people out of the fight, not to mention
and a
an
Shadow
Echo.
Realm as well, trying to figure out who's in a Shadow Realm, who's out of it. It's just
Everybody's everywhere. It's absolutely insane. And these are the reason that LPL is often so much fun, because you get these insane compositions coming on through. Mole throws a clone in. This is exactly what I was talking about here. And now Vici grouping up because Baron is onto the map. Next Drake will be up in a minute as well.
Yeah, and that was just shown on your screen again, just for anyone who missed it. That's the win percentage with the Barons, and it's not looking too hot for anyone right now.
Certainly not. Hung nearly finds the hook. Y4 there to save him though. And Alias no longer wants this 1v1. He's very afraid of Cube, and you can't blame him when you look at the scoreboard. Hung has to flash away. But he's fine. He's going to be okay. Barely took any damage.
Vici have got to find a safer route in these fights, though. That's iBoy who's been caught out. Now Hung who's forced to flash. Just let Forge do the work. And everyone, hang on.
Follows the flash. That was beautiful from Xiaohan. Forge is in trouble. He's going to go down here. Very nice Echo play.
The timing from Xiaohan to find Forge and follow him back. Brilliant play from the V5 jungler, and again, now we start to see V5 coming back into it, but because the CS differences and because the towers, it's still a 4,000 gold lead for Vici.
I can't believe how close this game and this series has been. In goes Ike's though, once again. They still want these fights. They still want the 4 versus 5. Mole's so low, and Y4 is going to be left out to dry, but actually flashes away to safety, and Xiaohan goes back in. He has his Chrono Break available. The rest of the team needs to be careful of that one. Everybody low. And bear in mind, there's an Aphelios in the middle of this, just free-firing the whole time.
Here, look, you got a 5-1 Mordekaiser. That's who my eyes are on in these fights. Because Cube has the potential to take over, especially if he can pull the likes of CLX and Alias into the Shadow Realm, kill them, steal their stats. He's a beefy boy coming into these fights, and V5 have got to respect that.
And it feels like we're just having a rinse and repeat here, where we see V5 find themselves a pick, try and force an objective, and then VG go like, ha! You think you can win a team fight with an advantage? I don't think so, buddy. Just charge on in. Find themselves an advantage elsewhere. 3 dragons now for Vici. It's traded for the tower in the top lane, though.
This is actually a scientific experiment right now to figure out where does a man advantage equal a gold deficit. And right now V5 haven't quite found where that lies, but definitely this 3,000 to 4,000 gold lead that Vici have picked up is equaling to one man, because every time one member of Vici, as you said, is missing from these fights.
That's actually the secret. There is no script here in the LPL. It's just the whole tournament is a social experiment. It's all about shenanigans, I guess.
And that's why you should like, comment, and subscribe on this video. But we will be looking towards our Baron now that has spawned 23 minutes. And Forge is looking to get some poke onto CLX. A nice slice and dice will get him over the wall.
Setting up for Baron, but the Skull Crab did go the way of V5, so they'll know if any shenanigans go down. You have to mention it every time. There's an Aphelios. It's very possible to just sneak a Baron away.
They don't have the setup right now, though, to try and go for that. There's a lot of vision that's still here for V5 around that Baron. They've even got the Rift Scuttler for themselves. A lot of blue wards littered in the back of the jungle for Vici. So this is where V5 have done a good job of setting up for that potential sneak from iBoy and Ike's.
I feel like Nico's damage is so underwhelming. When you look at the amount of AoE she has versus how quickly she can clear waves, when you compare that to other mages with similar amounts of AoE, she takes so long to clear away a minion wave.
Still, though, it's like in these team fights where you can get a massive Pop Blossom and you've got a Tango Barb and suddenly all these things are coming together. That's where Nico can look really good. And we've seen people like Rookie who've had wonderful success on it. But unfortunately, Mole hasn't been able to echo that in these games. Last game, getting caught out underneath towers, trying to Pop Blossom to clear waves. And now in this game, had a little bit more success with some sneaky plays on the Nico.
Yeah.
But we need to see it happen in team fights.
I don't know. I just look at Mole having to use 2 or 3 spell rotations to clear a wave, and then I watch Forge W one time and it's gone, and I'm like, I know which mage I'm going to pick for my team, that's for sure. Either way, We'll see what Mole can do in these fights. And he has had some pretty good Pop Blossoms so far. The big problem, though, goes back to what you were saying before, is iBoy on the Aphelios, they can't get onto him in the fights. Cube is so huge, there's no way in. Ike's could be in trouble. Ragnarok having to be used here. Xiaohan forces the fight, but in comes the TP, in comes Cube, and with no chrono break left, there's a Death Realm available for anyone who wants it. Y4 will fall. Alias trying to get into the fray, but Mole, he doesn't even get to Pop Blossom. Cube does what he wants at this point. CLX he's big in size, but not in damage. He's going to be pulled in and finished off. And Vici, honestly, the map is theirs.
Cube is huge, and everyone that he hits with that obliterate is now a pancake. Vici pick up the team fight win. They'll be able to move over towards this Baron, and it just feels again like V5 can't find the footing they want in this game.
Great team fighting coming out from Vici, and once again we keep on seeing Ikes in these fights going really deep but surviving and just baiting them into these big skirmishes.
And especially when a lot of the CC is being tossed his direction. You've got the parallel conversions from Xiaohan that's going his way, CLX trying to dive on him, even Mole trying to hit him with the Tango Barbs. If he's able to proc all that while he's still got his Ragnarok running, that's muy bueno for Vici. They're able to pick up the rest of the team coming in with Forge over a wall, with not having to deal with CC. iBoy being able to approach these fights as he's like. And unfortunately for Xiaohan here, he manages to tumble straight back and give that depth charge onto multiple people, which was just going to set up everyone for success, alongside Cube, who is just monstrous right now.
I love Cube literally just runs at them.
And don't forget, this is Vici playing for their playoff dreams. They want to make sure that they are winning this game 2-0. So if the rest of the series go their way for the weekend, they can still find themselves in that playoff contention.
Dragon going to be up in 30 seconds here. Vici already on Soul Point, can move on over. Look at the kill participation out of Cube, out of Ikes. Cube, the top laner, having 90% kill participation is nuts.
That is absolutely insane for a top laner, and both Cube and Ikes have been stepping up massively for Vici. We talked about these guys coming up both previously on Vici's Academy team, being allowed onto this main roster, and we didn't have the greatest performances from them to begin the split with, but certainly as we've rounded out our split, we've seen fantastic games from these guys. Oh boy!
That's going to be a big Moonlight Vigil, but it's not really about that, because Forge just found himself a kill onto Mole. CLX and Alias both want to get onto iBoy, but in the meantime, while they're messing about, the rest of the team's going down. And look at this, Cube making V5 look square.
It's a 4 versus 5 again because Ikes is on the Dragon, and Vici aren't worried about it. They're happy to take it. iBoy, the massive Moonlight Visual, turns his flamethrower towards CLX, who realizes fairly quickly, I don't want any part of this. And Vici, at 27 minutes, could be looking to close out this game.
I love how both of the solo laners try and get onto iBoy, and Cube just goes, I can do far more than both of you combined if I get onto the back line. He does exactly that. Recall will be denied. They've got 10 seconds and they've got a minion wave to do it. They're going to try and force the end on this one. Ragnarok comes on through. iBoy has a lot of damage, but the respawns are about to come on in. They've got to focus the Nexus or focus Mole. This one's going to be donezo in the end. iBoy wants more kills, flashes to safety. Oh, the mechanics are beautiful. Double for iBoy in the end. And Vici Gaming get a 2-0.